there with some shakeups big time on Capitol Hill. Now that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her top two deputies are paving the way for a new generation of Democratic leadership. We'll talk about what that means for the next Congress and your life, by the way, as the incoming Republican majority says get ready for a bunch of investigations. Plus, life-threatening snow in Buffalo is now forcing the NFL to move this Sunday's Bills-Browns game out of the city. We just found this out. We're on the ground in Michigan, where this historic storm is hitting tonight. And time's up for Twitter employees who aren't ready to be extremely hardcore to get their severance. That's just one of the many tech dramas we're following today, from massive layoffs to crypto meltdowns. We'll talk about it in just a sec. Plus, some breaking news just into us on Brittany Griner. The news statement we are now getting from her legal team after we learned she's being transferred to a penal colony outside Moscow. And in tonight's original, the pandemic's been hard on all of us, putting a unique strain on pregnant women and new moms. We've got the technology that's coming out now that could give them a little bit of help. Plus, pop the champagne. We got it ready, because guess whose birthday it is today? Ours. 1 year of Hallie Jackson now. We're glad you've been with us through it. We're going to talk about our favorite moments from the past year a little later on in the show. Hey, I'm Hallie, and on Capitol Hill, where we are right now in Washington, it is a whole new era. Democrats looking for a new leader as the Republicans take back control of the House of Representatives for the first time in 2 years. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying today she is not going to look for re-election to leadership after nearly 20 years in charge of the Democratic caucus. In an emotional 12-minute speech, the speaker says she never once imagined she'd be here.
Never would I have thought that someday I would go from homemaker to House Speaker. For me, the hour's come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect. I look forward, always forward, to the unfolding story of our nation.
Nancy Pelosi, the country's first ever female party leader and speaker, helped push through landmark health care and financial reform bills under former President Obama, and America's biggest ever climate infrastructure investment under President Biden. And as she steps down, President Biden is thanking his longtime friend for her years of service, summing it up by saying, "When I think of Nancy Pelosi, I think of dignity," he says. And look, the speaker promised back in 2018 that she would only spend 4 more years in leadership. So here we are 4 years later. But there's another reason why this is happening now, because Republicans are getting their hands back on the gavels, right? A huge shakeup of the power dynamic in Washington. And what do Republicans want to do with that power? Well, it's brought to you by the letter I, right? Investigations and possibly impeachment. You talk about policy. They're talking about a so-called parental bill of rights, more money for oil and the police, less money for Ukraine, the IRS, and social programs. It's not super likely that any of this is going to be able to pass a Democratic Senate or get signed into law by a Democratic president. So expect the Republicans to emphasize this other new power, the investigation piece, with a lot of them, into the origins of COVID potentially, into the Justice Department, into China and Afghanistan, possibly even impeachments of cabinet members, and deeply personal investigations into the president's son, Hunter, as we heard about today.
We're not trying to prove Hunter Biden is a bad actor. He is. This is an investigation of Joe Biden, and that's where the committee will focus in this next Congress.
The president himself has said he believes in his son, and Hunter Biden has said he plans to be cleared, expects to be cleared of any potential wrongdoing. Ryan Nobles is on Capitol Hill for us. So, Ryan, a lot of moving pieces there on the Hill where you are. Let me just break it down to why people should care here. This isn't about the Beltway intrigue into, like, who's going to take power, who's not, this name, that name. This is about a generational shift for basically half the country, right? The Democrats in the House of Representatives, there's going to be, we know, more than 200 of them. It's a big moment for the party.
It certainly is, Hallie. And when you look at polls across the country, a lot of Americans have said for some time that it is time for the octogenarians in charge of a lot of the power bases here in Washington and beyond need to move on, and it's time for a new generation of leadership. And Nancy Pelosi seems to understand that. That's part of why she made this decision today. And talking about handing over the baton to this new group. And it's not just Nancy Pelosi who is moving on. It's also Steny Hoyer, who's the #2 ranking Democrat, who's also stepping aside, and Jim Clyburn, who's the #3 ranking Democrat. And we caught up with Steny Hoyer shortly after Nancy Pelosi made her announcement, and he talked about why he thought it was important for the next generation to take over.
I think it's time for new leadership, and I think we have excellent opportunities. I think it's always good for a party to have new blood and new invigoration, enthusiasm, and new ideas.
So what's interesting is there's going to be new blood in charge, but some of that old blood's still going to stick around. Nancy Pelosi, Jim Clyburn, and Steny Hoyer are still going to be here in the halls of Congress. That is a unique situation, Hallie. In general, when speakers, deputy whips, when they step down from these posts, they move on. They get out of Congress completely.
That's right.
Paul Ryan, John Boehner both just decided to leave Congress from the beginning. So that's a little bit different situation and a little bit of uncharted territory that we'll have to see how that all plays out over the next couple of weeks.
You talk about where the party goes from here. I spoke with one member of Congress, Democrat Jamie Raskin, who's on the January 6th committee, about Hakeem Jeffries and why he thinks Congressman Jeffries is the right person to take over right now. I want to play what he said. Can you get behind Hakeem Jeffries as the next Democratic leader? Does he have your support?
Yeah, I think he's done an outstanding and sensational job as our caucus chair. He's paid his dues, and he's a terrific communicator who I think can express the message of the Democratic Party well.
So the message of the Democratic Party, what about the agenda of the Democratic Party? Because they will be in the minority in the House. We just laid out what Republicans are probably going to do, probably a lot of investigations. But Republicans also have a Democratic Senate, a Democrat in the White House, right? Where is the area for compromise? I asked this to one member yesterday, and they said, well, the Farm Bill, one senator told me. Okay, so like beyond the Farm Bill over the next 2 years, what are people actually going to see get done?
Yeah, Haley, you have a reason to be skeptical, right? I mean, there is not a very strong relationship between Hakeem Jeffries and Kevin McCarthy, who have the potential to be the two leaders in the House of Representatives in the upcoming Congress. Hakeem Jeffries is extremely critical of Kevin McCarthy, and the two of them need to find common ground if they're going to get anything done. It was interesting yesterday listening to Mitch McConnell talk about what the new Congress is going to look like. He said he's open to finding stuff that he says is it within the 40-yard lines of a football field. I'm not so sure that there's a desire, I should say, in the House for that same kind of compromise.
Ryan Nobles on Capitol Hill for us. Thank you very much. So history on Capitol Hill, but also a history in the Midwest, right? With this major lake snow event shaping up fast. What is a lake snow event? A lot of snow coming off the Great Lakes, maybe a bananas amount in places in the Northeast. We just found out as we were coming on the air that the Buffalo Bills, right, known for playing in the snow, known for being super hardcore, they're going to actually move their scheduled game that was supposed to be Sunday because of all the snow that's expected to hit. You've got Governor Kathy Hochul already declaring a state of emergency in nearly a dozen counties, and she's got a warning for everybody about how serious this is.
This is considered an extreme event, an extreme weather event. That means it's dangerous. It also means it's life-threatening.
Check it out. This is Lake Erie, Pennsylvania, where the snow, I mean, listen, folks have the scrapers out. That guy needs more than a hoodie. Let's be real, right? I mean, look, cars off the road, et cetera. And this is just the appetizer because Buffalo, the main event, 4 to 5 feet of snow, thunder snow, maybe even possible, too. Lightning flashes at the same time as snow in parts of New York. Maggie Vespa is joining us now from Michigan. So walk us through. I mean, you're in it, Maggie, what to expect there in Buffalo over the next few hours. Because tonight is when this thing is moving in.
Right. You said we're in it. We're in Kalamazoo, Michigan. But, Hallie, as you've been saying, Buffalo is, we've been hearing, the bullseye of this storm. So we're in it, but we're like in the light version. So look at this. This is not even close to what Buffalo is going to get. Michigan's been seeing, parts of Michigan have been seeing snowfall since yesterday. And we're expecting up to a foot here. But as you said, up to 4 to 5 feet in Buffalo. And it's an interesting yardstick to use. But, yeah, the Buffalo Bills moving their game is a big deal. That news just coming down, that game against Cleveland Browns on Sunday, going to Detroit. The last time that happened, NFL Insider reporting, 2014. So you stack that up against all of the alerts and states of emergency that we're seeing declared in New York and also Ohio. Officials are taking this very seriously, and they hope the public does too, Hallie.
Let's talk about the dangerous part of this, which is the snow load, which is when the snow falls, like the most sort of scary part of this. A foot of it on like a regular roof is like if SUVs, 4 of them, were parked on that roof, you know? Talk about what you're hearing from people and officials about how they're getting ready for this thing, because it's one thing to say, hey, snow's coming to places that are used to snow, but this is really early in the season for it. And it comes after these record cold temperatures, after we saw record high temperatures just like 2 weeks ago. Maggie's facial expression tells me that I think that her audio just went out. However, I think what she would have said is like, yeah, people have to get ready for it. A lot of snow is coming. Our thanks to Maggie Vespa, who's in the thick of it. I hope the comms are still good as the storm is moving in. We're going to have much more coverage on that storm tonight and then, of course, tomorrow morning here on NBC News Now. So listen, you're wrapping up your day at work. If you think you had a tough one, listen to what Twitter staffers dealt with today. They all had to decide on this choice, quote-unquote choice, that Elon Musk gave them. By right about now, actually just a couple hours from now, either work really long hours at high intensity and be, quote, extremely hardcore, or quit. And he'll throw you a few months severance as you go out the door. The deadline was right as we were coming on the air, 5 o'clock Eastern. And it comes as Amazon is also pink-slipping people, offering workers buyouts and what's expected to be the biggest round of cuts ever, with the CEO saying today they expect those cuts to continue into next year. And then more drama, too, from the crypto company FTX, you know, the big exchange that filed for bankruptcy last week. The new chief executive is putting the exchange on blast in a federal filing, saying, never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here. This is the guy who's now taken over the reins. Joining us now is Jake Ward. Jake, like, a lot of stuff is blowing up in a lot of corners here. Let me start with what's happening at Twitter, because just in the last couple of minutes, people had to click that button and say, yes, I would like my job and I will be hardcore, or no, this is bananas and I'm leaving. Musk is kind of walking back the hardcore thing. What's going on?
Well, that is the question here. It's hard to parse exactly how hardcore he wants people to be now that it seems apparent that not enough people are going to be clicking that button. We have the sense from people inside Twitter who've been speaking to us and to our colleagues at CNBC about that button and who it is that's going to click on them. And the sense is that the developers and software engineers that Elon Musk really wants to become the center of his new Twitter, what he's calling Twitter 2.0, they may not be signing up in the numbers that he would have wanted it. So he seems to be saying, you know what, actually, if you want to work from home, you just need a manager's permission, and that manager will then be responsible for figuring out whether or not you are working at the extremely high level we need you to work at. It's not quite a never mind, but it's pretty close to it. And at the same time, we are, of course, also seeing all kinds of new information about the basic, how it is that work is going to exactly happen there and what you're signing up for when you hit that button. Here's the crazy part. When you look at the internal FAQs that were published, they've been shared with us by people who plan to leave the company. They basically show that you are signing up for, yes, this list of higher level working conditions. It's not clear how much you're going to have to be there on weekends, the rest of it. And then at one point, one of the things says, benefit changes, and it says that will have to be determined. We will, communicate that to you going forward. So it is not clear yet what working conditions or pay and benefits you're quite signing up for by signing for this. But as of just 12 minutes ago, Hallie, all those workers were, in theory, responsible for either pressing that button or walking out that door.
Okay, so that's what the deal is at Twitter 2.0. We'll see how that goes. Let's talk about FTX. We've covered it here a lot on this show. You had those, just dagger of comments, right, from the new FTX chief executive who really put the former leadership, including Sam Bankman-Fried, on blast. Now you have investors filing a class action lawsuit against him and a whole list of celebrities who came on board to promote FTX. Talk us through it.
That's right. Not only do you have this new CEO, I'm criticizing is not even the word, right? Condemning Sam Bankman-Fried for his role in this. And this is the guy, it's worth pointing out, who restructured Enron. This is a guy who knows a disaster when he sees it. And so the fact that he's speaking as frankly in federal documents as he is, that's really something. And now, of course, not only are we seeing the ripple effects of this FTX meltdown reach out, to countries like El Salvador, which had bet the farm on Bitcoin, reaching out and touching all these hedge funds and retail investors, the rest of it. Now it's touching the celebrity endorsers who lined up to make FTX a household name, right? You've got names like Steph Curry, Larry David, Naomi Osaka, who lined up to say this was a great idea, you should go for it. And you'll remember in Larry David's famous Super Bowl ad, he basically makes fun of any reluctance you might have had about getting into it. Well, all of those people are named in this class action lawsuit. And this is the thing. This is not the first time we've ever seen this. You'll recall that earlier this year, Kim Kardashian had a $1 million fine from the SEC, and the rule is supposed to be you have to actually disclose your relationship and that you're getting paid. It does not seem clear yet whether these celebrity endorsers actually did that, Hallie.
Help me understand one thing. SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy who was in charge of FTX, big Democratic donor, et cetera, he's like sliding into reporters' DMs to talk about a lot of this. He's been doing interviews. Like, does he not run the risk of some real legal trouble here? Like, is that... I would ask you if that's a good idea. You're not his lawyer, so I know you can't answer that, but help us understand this.
It is extraordinary to watch someone in as much trouble as he seems to be, speaking as publicly as he seems to be. Now, in this particular case, he was on with Vox's Kelsey Piper on a back and forth via Twitter DMs. And he is saying today that he did not intend that conversation to be public. Well, too late now. It is out there, and it is extraordinary. He says things like, she asks him, was your idea about being behind good regulation just a PR move? And he essentially says yes. Then he uses an expletive to talk down about regulators. They just make things worse. I mean, this guy, we
can say it, right? I mean, he said it.
That's right.
He said the F word.
Regulators. You're absolutely right. That's what he said. And, this is certainly not the sort of smooth talk that we are used to from somebody who is in trouble. This is some real open conversation about somebody who was certainly one thing and with something that made him the icon of legitimacy in the crypto world. And now suddenly he is this very other thing on the far side of what is mounting legal and federal trouble here, Hallie.
I could listen to you talk about this for an hour, Jake, and luckily I will have that opportunity later on tonight, 10:30 Eastern, for an NBC News Now special, Hellscape, Inside the Meltdowns at Twitter and FTX. You can watch Jake and the team who put that together tonight, again, 10:30 Eastern on News Now. Turning to some breaking news from overseas as it relates to Brittany Griner. She's, of course, that WNBA superstar who's been detained in Russia, and we're just now learning officially where she is, exactly where she is, a penal colony hundreds of miles outside of Moscow. Her lawyers late today confirming to NBC News that she's in the Mordovia region, about 7 hours away from the Russian capital. They say they visited her, and she's trying to stay strong in this new environment. Monica Alba is in Washington, and this is a significant piece of information because for days there had been a question of like, hey, the rumor was she was in this penal colony. We didn't know for sure. And by the way, how long is she going to have to be there?
And we didn't know anything about her condition, Hallie. For weeks, earlier this month, we knew that the transfer was scheduled to take place. But the White House, the Biden administration, the State Department, they couldn't comment on the whereabouts of her exact location. We know that the Russians weren't sharing that information with any of their counterparts here in the U.S. And even today, the State Department released a statement saying the only way we know about this is through her lawyers. And of course, we continue to be in touch with her legal team. But this is not something where they're sharing much more than that. And just to really share with viewers the harsh conditions of these kinds of penal colonies, where Brittany Griner is right now. And just remember, she's already been alone, isolated for about 9 months. She's been sentenced to serve 9 years. And she's in a place where, according to some former inmates who've spoken to Russian newspapers, inmates worked all day from 7 a.m. to midnight in incredibly harsh conditions that are tantamount to slave labor. So that is why her team is saying that she's doing as best as she can as expected. And all of this is going on while the Biden administration is still trying to see if there's any hope for any kind of a prisoner swap, not just for her, but another American who they believe is wrongfully detained, and that's Paul Whelan, who is in a similar location serving time on espionage charges. So the president says he continues to try to see if there's going to be any breakthroughs with Russian officials. There were all these questions about whether maybe he was going to speak to President Putin again. We know Putin didn't show at the G20 last week where the president was meeting with other world leaders. So it's something that still seems to be going on in back channels, discussions behind the scenes. But right now, Brittany Griner, we can confirm, is being held in this penal colony. It's unclear how long she's going to be there. And we don't really know when the next update will come, which is quite something, Hallie.
A lot of people hoping it'll come, obviously, in a matter of days and not weeks or months. Monica Alba outside the White House, thank you. We've been talking about Russia, right? But it is China that the FBI director is saying today is the biggest threat that the United States faces, especially because of their cyber attacks. Watch.
China's vast hacking program is the world's largest by a mile, and they have stolen more of Americans' personal and business data than every other nation combined.
Ken Delanian is joining us now live on set, of course, our intelligence and justice reporter. It is striking to hear the FBI director say this. It is not a new warning about the threat from China, but it is stark at this moment.
It's actually been true for as long as I've been covering the intelligence community, which is more than a decade. But now you hear them talk about it in very plain terms. Now, this administration in particular has decided they're going to tell the truth, which is that China is stealing Americans' data every day, all day. They're sending spies here. They're doing everything they can to gain an advantage, both economically and in the national security space.
Yeah.
And the FBI has its hands full.
And this is also part of why the TikTok thing is such a concern, why you're seeing so much pressure from the government on that front.
Yeah, that's right, because it is owned by a Chinese company. There's a lot of American data. Now, they say it's routed through.
Yeah, TikTok will say, well, we don't route American data through China.
But anytime you have Chinese hands on American data or the potential for that, people get nervous because what they're doing is building a massive database. They've got health information, personally identifying information that they can use to mine for all kinds of purposes, including hunting for CIA officers in China.
Scary stuff. Ken Delaney, thank you for that update. Appreciate it.
You bet.
More mystery tonight around those killings in Idaho of 4 college students. Like why 2 roommates who were home when those 4 other students were stabbed to death were not heard, and who made the 911 call several hours after the attack. We know the autopsies of the victims are now complete. All we really know at this moment is that somebody killed Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Zana Kernodle, and Madison Mogen early Sunday. Just before noon that day, you had Moscow police getting a 911 call about somebody who was unconscious. It wasn't until officers got to the house that they found out the door was left open and that the 4 friends had been stabbed to death. Police have video, this video. We found out about this really right after the show last night. It's from a Twitch live stream that apparently shows 2 of the victims at a food truck just hours before they were found dead in their house. Stephen Romo is joining us now with more. And Stephen, it feels like every time we get some new information about this case, it prompts a whole lot more questions, too, like the fact that apparently 2 people were home when this happened. What do we know about these circumstances here? Explain this.
Yeah, there's so many mysteries in this case, Hallie. That is a big one right now. Police saying there's no signs of forced entry into that home, of course, raising a lot of questions about exactly what happened. We did hear from that coroner about just how gruesome that crime scene was. We heard that today also, that the weapon used was a large knife. Investigators, though, did say those 2 other roommates were home at the time this happened. They're not saying much more than that, though. We're not sure if they heard or saw what happened. They're also not saying who called 911. We do know that they're aware of the person who called 911, but they're not saying who that is. It's also not clear why it took from the overnight hours till noon the next day for these bodies to be found. So more questions on what exactly happened in this case, something that authorities are being asked now, not only by the families, but the entire community there where this happened.
We're showing that video on the left side of the screen now for folks who are streaming us live, and this is something that police had released. Why are they looking so closely at this, right? Like, help us understand the pieces of the puzzle that this helps connect.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre finding out the timeline of this situation. This was taken around 1:30 in the morning. As you mentioned, this food truck happens to live stream on Twitch the cameras that they have. And we see 2 of the victims there ordering. Everything seems normal. Everyone is calm. There's no red flags, nothing setting off alarm bells in this situation. They even wait around for about 10 minutes for their order. But right now, it's not clear what clues can be gained from this. One piece of this puzzle, though, that can be gained from this is that it helps the timeline of this. If this happened around 1:30 in the morning, we were hearing from the coroner just not that long ago that it was the early morning hours, still before sunrise, when she believes that these 4 young people were stabbed to death. So that does add some information from the timeline. There could be more clues in this video. It's just not exactly clear right now.
Police are also walking back the thing that we talked about yesterday, this idea that there was no threat to the community, even though there is a killer or killers who have not been captured yet. Police are saying now, okay, well, you know, they are modifying that a little bit.
Yeah, they had to walk that back a little bit. That's something else that family members have been outraged about, because police are also saying they don't have any suspects for these murders right now. So it's hard to say that everything is safe and everything is fine if they don't know who did it or where that person is, if there have been no arrests in this case. So there's been pushback on that front as well, specifically by family members saying that. We know the mayor originally said that this may have been connected to a crime of passion. Well, the lead prosecutor for the county where this happened was on the Today Show this morning saying that their office has no idea where that information came from because they just don't know right now. So that's why they've had to walk these things back. They are asking if anyone has information on this to please come forward.
Stephen Romo. Steve, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Coming up here on the show, a lot more to get to tonight, including Ticketmaster not able to shake it off with the chaos over Taylor Swift ticket sales getting the attention of some lawmakers. Some of the breaking news that Taylor Swift fans are going to want to hear. Plus, a major first in California, how LA's next mayor will make history. We'll have that in just a second. So there's this question that we ask a lot here on our show team, which is what's in your group chats, right? What are people talking about? I can almost guarantee you that somebody has texted or added you today at some point about this Ticketmaster thing, right? And the Taylor Swift thing. It is everywhere. Lawmakers are talking about it. Attorneys general are talking about it because Ticketmaster today announced they are canceling Taylor Swift's public ticket sale tomorrow because of crazy high demand and not enough tickets left. The company is under fire now from lawmakers, from state officials. You've got Tennessee's attorney general say he's going to investigate the company after fans flooded his office with complaints when the site crashed this week. Same thing with the Pennsylvania attorney general. You got Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar sending a letter to the president of Ticketmaster's parent company concerned about the lack of competition in the ticketing market. Ticketmaster is in some real hot water, Hallie Vitale, who knows this well.
Oh, yeah.
Ticketmaster says they sold something. So first of all, let's lay the groundwork here. Taylor Swift is a global phenomenon, and her fans are desperate to do anything to see her on tour. Okay, that's the backdrop. So Ticketmaster comes in and is like, hey, we're going to pre-sale tickets and then put them up for sale for the public. They sold 2 million tickets during the pre-sale alone. That was a record for any artist in a single day. Then they're coming out today saying we actually can't put tickets on sale for the public because we just don't have enough left. People are furious. Lawmakers are upset. How much trouble is Ticketmaster actually in?
Yeah, you got to imagine that when Taylor Swift said Midnight's Mayhem, this is not what she had in mind. This is the first tour that fans are getting to see her do. And look, full disclosure, Hallie, you know, I'm a big Swiftie. I was trying to get tickets.
Like, Hallie Vitale has to do the story. Congress is mad at Ticketmaster over Taylor Swift. Hallie Vitale's our girl, you know?
This is like the nexus of all of the things that I care about. I love Congress. I love Taylor. I don't love that I didn't get tickets and that so many of my friends spent hours and hours in line only to end up getting shut out of this. And it's not just me having a personal affinity for both of these topics. It's the fact that you're right. Attorneys general, lawmakers here in this building are all talking about the fact that they are watching Ticketmaster because Ticketmaster controls basically the entire market of how you sell concert tickets. After they had a merger, they now own 70% effectively of the space around ticket sales. And for an artist like Taylor Swift that has long talked about kind of like small d democratizing concerts and music and equitability for artists, like this seems like a moment where I think a lot of her fans, me, are wondering if she's going to speak now, to use a reference, about what's happening with Ticketmaster because so many eyes are on this and frankly, what a mess it's been.
She hasn't yet, right? Because Live Nation's chairman has come out and over on CNBC, our sister network, apologized to fans, saying they're working hard on this, but like an apology is obviously not going to be enough for those fans or for Senator Klobuchar, who wants answers, or for the Pennsylvania Attorney General, who's like, hey, send me your complaints here. It's not just like a regulatory concern for Ticketmaster. It's turning into like a PR nightmare for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about lawmakers being upset about this, it's like Taylor Swift says, there's nothing like a mad woman. And the fact that you have someone like Senator Klobuchar, who seems pretty mad about the way that this has shaken out, but it's not just her. It's Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's Congressman Bill Pascrell. Many of them have said that they're going to be watching. And look, they have the ability to do oversight. In the case of Amy Klobuchar, she's a big person about antitrust and breaking up monopolies. Another woman comes to mind, Elizabeth Warren, not a fan of those things. And so there is an antitrust moment happening right now in Congress. The fact that this is now happening with a woman who all of her 10 songs off of Midnight's topped the Billboard charts. She was all 10 of those slots. It reminds the power of her fan base, and it also reminds that so many eyes are on this. So Ticketmaster, people were primed for problems because we've been here before. We've seen what it's been like with Harry Styles and other major artists. Now, though, Congress is like, well, it's one of the biggest artists in the world. We're watching what's happening, and like, it's not good. This is why we can't have nice things.
Could this Taylor Swift saga and drama be the reason why, like, the Ticketmaster monopoly, if it could get broken up, is? Like, in other words, what's the end game here? If there's a lot of noise right now, like, what's the actual, you know, to mix a metaphor, heat that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when they actually start regulating, depending on who does it, whether it's, different agencies or Congress, that's when this actually starts coming out in the wash, is how this ends up getting broken up. But right now, it's just kind of in the swirling phase.
Hallie Vitale, who I know was prepping for hours to get as many Taylor Swift song lyrics and album titles into that live shot. Thank you, Hallie. Appreciate it. Listen, it's a huge deal story, and it's one that we're going to stay on top of. Appreciate it. Let's get you over to the 5 things, our team thinks you should know about tonight. Number 1, Democratic Congresswoman Karen Bass has been elected mayor of Los Angeles, the first woman and second black person to hold that title. She defeated fellow Democrat Rick Caruso, a billionaire real estate developer who was endorsed by Elon Musk, in a super competitive, and some say surprisingly competitive, mayoral race that was closely watched. Number 2, in Florida, a judge is awarding Gabby Petito's family $3 million after they filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the parents of her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. The suit says the Laundries hindered the search for Petito and knew she'd been murdered by their son, who later died by suicide. Laundrie did not have $3 million at the time of his death, and the settlement amount is what they're calling an arbitrary number. The money will go toward the Gabby Petito Foundation. Number 3, Jay Leno's doctor is hoping the longtime TV host is going to be out of the hospital within a week. Dr. Peter Grossman says Leno had burns on 7% of his body. Were relatively serious, involving his face, hands, and chest. Remember, Leno had been involved in a garage fire, gas fire, basically, when he was working on one of his very famous cars. Too soon to tell, his doctor says, whether there will be permanent damage. Number 4, a lot of folks were on a mission this past summer to kill spotted lanternflies. Look at them, the invasive insects that have caused chaos in at least 14 states. So did it make a difference? Well, kind of, according to experts. That push may have curbed the species spread to some degree, but their eggs can survive the cold. So now a new generation of lanternflies is expected to swarm when it gets warm. That's a problem for your trees. Number 5, take a look at this video. Writer Ariel Marie wearing Lizzo's dress. You heard that right. Marie posted a video on TikTok. She asked Lizzo to borrow a dress. She's heading to New York to attend Out Magazine's gala after being included on the Out 100 list. Marie could not find anything to wear to the event, so Lizzo came in to save the day. When we come back, RSV cases are going up, hospitals are full, but the White House says it's not quite ready to declare a national emergency on this front. We'll tell you why. Plus, our original tonight, the rise in premature births in the last year, why doctors say it happened, and why they're so worried about it on today, World Preemie Day. That's coming up. To tonight's original now, with in-depth reporting on a topic we've been keeping an eye on. And tonight we're talking about World Premature Day. And on it, a new big study is highlighting just how hard the pandemic has been on pregnant women and new moms. The stress, the anxiety, adding to the risks for giving birth as the number of babies born early is on the rise. But now new technology is promising hope on the horizon for moms-to-be.
Red, yellow.
Lily Becker was born 8 weeks early, spending nearly a month in the NICU. Her mom and dad driving 3 hours every day just to see her, not able to spend the night because of COVID precautions.
I just felt like every time I turned around, if it wasn't COVID, then it was her prematurity, and the two together, just impossible. I just felt like the unluckiest person in the world.
The Beckers aren't alone. In 2021, more babies were born early, before 37 weeks of pregnancy, 1 in every 10 infants. That's up 4% from the year before. And while that may not sound like a lot, doctors say it's significant, and COVID could be to blame.
It increased symptoms of anxiety, depression, and stress.
Becker was part of a unique study of more than 400 pregnant women and new moms. And what researchers found surprised them. The levels of stress and anxiety off the charts, both of which can add to the risks for pregnant women, including, for some, the potential for early delivery.
Those stressful experiences are going to increase those rates that we see in preterm deliveries.
It became clear that what we needed to be looking at wasn't just the link with infection, but really what was the experience of pregnant people during the pandemic.
Laura Jalife-Pulowski is a lead researcher on that study and noticed something many of these women had in common. They felt in the dark without the information they needed.
There's women with very high levels of anxiety and depression who don't know that they have have kind of a clinical level of these things. We need these tools to start having these conversations.
And that's why Jalif Pulowski is now turning to new technology to bridge those gaps. She's creating an app called Hello Egg. After answering a series of questions, the app describes personalized risk for preterm birth. It highlights the factors driving that risk, and it makes recommendations to address them.
And there are devices that feed information into that app that women who subscribe to the service can get that can help them, identify things like hypertension.
Better info may mean better care. And for the Beckers, that's been priority number one. With Lily now 2 years old and mom Ashley with a clearer understanding and a message to parents like herself.
I would just say to be brave when you're advocating for your child. You're put in a situation where it's really hard to be that advocate, because you're I'm going against doctors and people who know about this kind of thing, supposedly, but you have to also do what's right for yourself or what you think is the best thing for your baby.
Thanks to the Beckers for speaking with us. And just this week, by the way, you can get on the waiting list for the Hello Egg app. It'll be available to everyone free of charge in January. This afternoon, the Biden administration is telling NBC News they are not declaring RSV a public health emergency just yet, even though a lot of doctors have been asking for this. The administration saying public health emergencies only happen based on trends they're seeing around the country and insight from public health experts. And basically that this increase in viral RSV for little kids doesn't hit the bar just yet. As of Wednesday, something like 78% of kids' hospital beds across the country were full, according to HHS. Dr. Akshay Syal joins us now. And Dr. Syal, help us understand this because RSV cases are still high. Pediatric beds are still full. The news, we've been covering this on the news for 2 months here. What is the bar that would need to be hit in order for the administration to say, yes, this is a public health emergency?
Good evening, Hallie. That's a good question, and one that they haven't been that transparent is, in that statement that they provided to NBC News, they actually, they didn't give an exact benchmark that they're looking for. But I'll just add, the public just went through this with COVID, of course, and then again with monkeypox, also declared, a public health emergency in August. So, I think there's an element of the Biden administration not wanting to promote fear and panic right now, especially as we get into the holidays. And I'd imagine there's an element of that as to why they didn't declare a public health emergency like the American Academy of Pediatrics wanted.
Yeah. Explain why the declaration matters, right? Because it's not just naming it a public health emergency. There's money behind it. There's actual resources that come with getting named an emergency like this.
Right. So, when you declare a public health emergency, a lot of the changes happen under the hood of the car, so to speak. They get rid of a lot of bureaucracies and issues with communicating between hospitals and states and with the CDC. But for your viewers out there, I think the biggest takeaway, should this become a public health emergency, is that they're recognizing, yes, this is a big deal. This is a big deal at a national level, and we need to mobilize all the resources we have to make sure that kids aren't dying who don't need to. I should add that Oregon actually has declared a public health emergency in the state, and we saw that with monkeypox, where states were actually taking action before the government at a federal level.
Dr. Akshay Syal, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Some breaking news to get to. Now, the Biden administration, we've just learned, will ask the Supreme Court to step in and let them restart the student loan forgiveness program. We've got a document in from the Justice Department to the Fifth Circuit laying out what they're going to say. They haven't officially filed it just yet, but remember that relief plan is blocked for now after 6 Republican-led states sued the White House, basically pressing pause on any new applications for this program. That's what the White House has done. It could give up to $20,000 in relief to some students with student loan debts. We're going to see how this one unfolds in the court system. We know that Republicans will be taking back control of Congress, according to the NBC News official projection, in just about 7 weeks from now. But what happens between now and 7 weeks from now? It's what's called a lame duck session. It's like one of these annoying phrases that everybody in the Beltway says. It doesn't mean anything. It's just this time period where the party in power, in this case the Democrats, still have that power, but in a couple of months, they will lose it. It means they have just under 2 months to try to get some stuff done. So what are they trying to do in the House before Republicans take over in January? Here's the breakdown. First things first, in this lame duck session, Congress has to prevent a shutdown by funding the government. They'll also probably pass the National Defense Authorization Bill, which sets aside money for the U.S. military. The deadline for that, December 16th. Then, just this week, 12 Republican senators joined Democrats in announcing support for a narrow but important bill that would enshrine protections for same-sex and interracial marriage.
Today, the Senate is taking a truly bold step forward in the march towards greater justice, greater equality, by advancing the Respect for Marriage Act.
Look for that to get a full floor vote soon. Also, both parties are working together on a bill related to how Congress counts electoral votes after a presidential election. It's a response to what happened after 2020 and would make clear the vice president's role is purely ceremonial. It'll also define the number of lawmakers it takes to challenge an electoral vote. On the COVID front, Democrats are expected to try for $10 billion in new pandemic money to help with vaccines and treatments. And finally, Democrats could bring forward a bill that would protect so-called dreamers, the hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. at a young age, a fix that could include a pathway to citizenship. If you're thinking, hey, that's a long list, keep in mind, since 2010, lame duck sessions have actually been pretty productive in terms of actual legislation passed. We'll see. Coming up here on the show, it's usually one of Starbucks' busiest days of the year. But today, workers at more than 100 locations are on strike. We'll talk about the changes they say the chain has to make in just a minute. NBC News covers hundreds of stories every day, and because you couldn't possibly read or watch or listen to them all, our bureau teams have done it for you. This is what they tell us is going down in their regions in a segment we call The Local. From our Northeast Bureau, about 1,000 people had to evacuate early this morning when, look at this tanker truck basically flipped over. All this fuel spilled out. People used a nearby middle school as a shelter while cleanup crews checked on air quality. They tried to make sure that none of this gas leaked into waterways. From our Midwest Bureau, a Missouri girl is being called a hero today after she helped her mom give birth to a baby sister at home. The 10-year-old called 911 when her mom went into labor 3 weeks early, and the dispatcher talked her through the steps for an emergency birth. 10 minutes later, she was helping her mother deliver a healthy new baby, and she helped care for it until the paramedics got there. That is amazing. Also out of our Northeast Bureau, the man suspected of killing 10 black people in a racially motivated shooting at a Buffalo, New York grocery store is expected to plead guilty in a 25-count indictment, according to a lawyer for the victims' families. The lawyer says a guilty plea lets the families avoid a long and most likely painful trial. Well, the line for your coffee may have been a little longer than usual today, and that is because unionized Starbucks workers are on strike at more than 100 stores around the country. These workers say they think Starbucks is trying to break the union and won't do a fair contract negotiation. Starbucks denies the allegations and says they're committed to this bargaining process. And if you're a Starbucks drinker, you know today's a big day, Red Cup Day, when you get a free reusable cup with a holiday drink order. Like, this is the day when Starbucks typically sees more people coming in than usual. Priscilla Thompson is joining us now live in Houston. I think you're outside of Starbucks. Priscilla, are workers still there?
Yeah, there are workers inside, but there are also some workers out here, as you see them behind me, picketing. There have been around a dozen people out here all day. Around a handful of them, we're told, work at this Starbucks location, and there are also former employees and other union supporters who are out here. You'll hear the cars honking as they pass by, showing their support for these folks. And I spoke to one of these picketers. Her name is Madeline. She tells me that she's been a barista here for 2 years, and she says that they unionize, and now they want Starbucks as a company to come to the bargaining table in good faith. They feel that that has not happened, and that is the reason why we're seeing these protests across the country today. Now, Starbucks has said that they have come to the table in good faith. They tell us that they've had some 50 bargaining meetings that they've showed up for already. They have 60 more planned in the coming weeks, and they say that this breakdown in bargaining is not their fault, but clearly there is a disconnect in what is happening. And the real question here is, how will this demonstration today impact business? Starbucks tells us that this is happening in around more than 100 stores, but they have more than 9,000 stores across the country. And so this is not having any noticeable impact on their business, according to Starbucks. But the workers that I've spoken to here say that they do hope this showing of collective action will sort of prompt Starbucks to reignite those discussions and hopefully bring both sides back to the table so that they can get a contract. These unionized stores say that they want a contract and they want one now. Hallie?
Priscilla Thompson, live for us there in Houston. Thank you. Still to come here on the show, we are celebrating tonight because guess what? It's 1 year of this show. 1 year that you've been hanging out with us every night. We're going to look back at some of the best moments and a look ahead at what else is to come in just a second. So at this time, exactly 1 year ago tonight, we were finishing up our very first show on Hallie Jackson Now. And let me tell you, it's been a ride since then, right? Over the past year, we've been here to cover all the big news for you and to try to bring it to you however you're streaming in a way that is interesting and honest and digestible. From breaking news overseas on the war in Ukraine to the inside scoop on how our team of incredible reporters puts together a story to the chaos of trying to buy a ticket to Taylor Swift's latest tour. Our team put together a video looking back at some of our best, favorite, and most impactful moments on this show in the last year. Check it out. Hey, I'm Hallie. Over the last year, we've covered the biggest moments making news.
If they don't want to see a big surge, then do the things that are being recommended to prevent that.
Were you surprised by how this verdict came down?
I really was.
This is where we know that Russia has attacked.
We have shuttered the curtains. We're still able to use our lights. We're not putting any light onto the street, but it's very indicative of an unknown here.
Here's the thing about tonight. How do you come on the air and do the news like it's any other night? When you have to start with a warning about the stories you're about to tell, about the awful details about the murders of little kids. I know you might want to break from the news. People who do the news want to break from the news. But you deserve to know who these amazing kids and their teachers were. And with Hurricane Ian making history as it's making landfall, did you ever imagine that you would be sitting here going through something like this after having moved to this state less than a month ago?
No. Not at all. Imagine 58 years cut off from society. The things you don't know are immense, and so he will have to learn, things like how to handle a bank account in the modern era to using a cell phone.
And through our special show franchises, we've brought you original and behind-the-scenes reporting. Now, we want to bring you tonight's original in-depth reporting on a topic we've been watching.
It's just nice to know that somebody has your back.
Jax, I can tell this is emotional for you.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't grow up with the support ever.
And, for people who were freaked out with weed before, this is something that makes it a lot more approachable.
You can take my word for it that non-alcoholic cocktails can be wonderful and enjoyable, and you can have just as much fun.
NBC News covers hundreds of stories every day, and because you couldn't possibly read or watch or listen to them all, our bureau teams have done it for you. And from our Midwest Bureau, it's the goats' turn to party today. Yes, not goats like the greatest of all time, actual goats. Let's get you over to the 5 things our team thinks you should know about tonight. Stop licking toads, folks. That's the message from the National Park Service. Time now to get the backstory, our behind-the-scenes look at how a story comes together and how it fits into our bigger picture.
It was a day that I didn't know how it was going to end.
I know this sounds like I'm a player, but you take what the game gives you.
This series of reports has hit me in a way that nothing else has that I've covered.
And through it all, we've had some fun along the way. You're like hanging out the doors. You're looking for these farms, right?
I would say not hanging out the doors.
Okay, fine.
But I was terrified.
I think as a former Hill reporter yourself, if you gave us a drink or two, we would probably admit that actually covering Capitol Hill is a lot of fun.
Full disclosure, I did a live shot with a bathing suit under my clothes today because my producer Haley and I managed to sneak in an hour at the pool between live shots. I'm so sorry to my bosses for admitting that.
Even if your ticket, I've got mine here, doesn't match all 6 numbers.
Wait a second. No, real. Is that actually a real ticket? Did you really buy that ticket?
Oh, yes, I just went in here and I grabbed it. Absolutely.
Like your personal Emily Aketa ticket.
We are on the Treasure Coast right now, and in case you're wondering why this is called the Treasure Coast, it's because of all the pirate ships that used to wash up here.
Hey, listen, so if you see me in the stands and if Vina cracks an ace tonight and I'm applauding, you just know I turned out to be human. That's all.
We're all human. We're human news people. That's like the whole point. You know what I mean? Glad you're with us. We really, really, really are glad you're with us because you are the reason why we've had such success this past year. We're really proud of that. I don't mean to sound braggy about it, but we feel great that you are watching and that you are staying with us. And our whole mission here is to deliver for you. The best of what NBC News has to offer, with our bureaus and correspondents and producers and crews showing up for us every day across the network and around the world. With all the people behind the scenes doing this show full time for the last year, look at our folks in the control room doing it live right now. We've got the brilliant and dedicated and hilarious team who puts in the hours and reworks the copy and finds that newest nugget. Here we are at our retreat in 30 Rock last month. So to our big bosses, Janelle Rodriguez, Noah Oppenheim, Cesar Conde, thank you for letting us do pretty much whatever we want. To my partner in developing and launching the show, Jill Belante, thank you. To all the people in studio in front of me, all you guys here, to the credits behind me here, right, the team, thank you. And most of all, thanks to you all for streaming us. We are so proud to be showing up for you every night. These are the folks who make it happen. Cheers to another year. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.